pretty light week overall for us. Off to Georgia, Atlanta to play Georgia State, and we showed up, but our game didn't. We did not play well really at all from the start all the way through for 90 minutes, and was a little disappointed in that, obviously. We've been talking so much about maturity and growth and progress through the season, and we're going to have to chalk it up to just having a bad day, which teams do and players do, and heck, staff does too, right? We're all in it together, and at the end of the day, we just did not do what we needed to do on the day. Going into it, I let them know that it was a critical 3 points for us. Georgia State were behind us in the table. Currently still are behind us in the table, but we had a chance really to put some distance between us and them and secure 3 points, which was not going to be easy. We've talked all season long about how difficult it is to get 3 points on the road in conference. The conference is so tight. I don't have to go through the mathematics of it. You can see it on your sheets. Everything from, I want to say from 3rd to 9th or 10th is within 5 or 6 points, something like that. So we knew we had a great opportunity in front of us, and I think that's probably what adds to the disappointment is we didn't take the opportunity that we had. First 3 minutes, Alex made a great run from the back and found Skyla in the box, and Skyla did okay with it. Probably could have done a little bit better, but still was able to get off a decent chance. Across the face of goal, we had 2 players on the back post, neither of whom really made much of an effort to put it in the back of the net. So a chance to go up 1-0 in the first 3 minutes on the road turned into being down 2-0 10 minutes later. And that's the unfortunate part of the game. That's the reality of the game, and so we didn't create the opportunity for ourselves. We didn't take the opportunity for ourselves as I thought we should have, and I thought that we would have, based on where we were in the season. A week before, we talked about the importance of getting a result on the road at Monroe, and the performance quality was a little bit less significant than the 3 points. That was really the case again on Friday, where the performance quality would have any way we performed, any way we played, as long as we could secure the 3 points, we could have lived with. Unfortunately, we didn't get 3 points or a good performance, and so that's the tricky part. So now 2 matches in a row, why are we not playing very well, and why are we not executing so much of what we're working on? That's for us as a staff to go back, look at video, reevaluate our preparation, and make sure that we're facilitating an environment that is going to enable our players to better apply the information and better execute on Friday night. We're home to Georgia Southern, who just recently beat Georgia State 2-0. So we know that we're gonna have another tough match on Friday night. It's a critical, even more critical 3 points. I believe if we can get 3 points in that match, that we put ourselves in position to go to the conference tournament. Which I'm not even sure seeding matters in the conference tournament at this point because of how tight things are. But none of that is even significant. None of that really is even on my radar, because we haven't been playing well, and we have a game at home on Friday, and we have to win it. And that's all that I'm concerned about, all I'm focused about this week. Obviously getting our team recovered from a lot of travel this year, getting their legs back underneath them, making sure that they're doing all the things that they need to do to utilize the resources that we provide them, from academics to nutrition and beyond, so that come Friday night they're prepared to play and prepared to put in a fantastic performance in front of what we hope is a very nice crowd. CSC, one of the local clubs, it's their night on Friday night. It's also our pink game night, particularly close to home for me, a former player of mine who's been battling breast cancer for the last couple of years. It seems to be going through a pretty difficult time right now, so certainly close to home for me, and I'm hoping that we can get great support out for that. I think it's realistically it's probably affected everybody in this world, right? And so I'm not all too different from anyone else, but certainly want to continue to do our part to raise awareness for that ongoing battle. So I'm not even going to talk about Sunday because it doesn't matter right now.
Are you coming home at the right time? I mean, you had 4 wins at home and a draw. Is that maybe the thing that can get you back into the win column, simply being at home, being in a stable environment?
I think so. Having them in their own beds and not having the travel. We've traveled a lot this year. I don't know what the total numbers are. It just seems like a lot. So we've been on the road consistently over the course of the season. It's difficult to travel. You add on the layer of academic pressure and stress. I mean, we're not talking about, generally speaking, our student athletes aren't just getting by in the academic endeavors. They're thriving in that setting, and they thrive because they put a great deal of time and attention and effort into it. And missing lots of class, and finding ways to kind of bring that all together for them is challenging when you're on the road so much. But they've done a great job of it. But it's an added stress. I think being at home is a great setting for us. We've had good crowds throughout the season so far. We haven't conceded much in terms of goals, so we've put ourselves in position to win games. We've played with confidence at home against some of the top teams historically in the league. And I expect us to play well on Friday, if for no other reason than because we have to. At this point in the season, there's been so much, and I mentioned this last week, there's been so much mention about, where you are this year compared to where you are last year, and, your record at home, and who cares, right? We got a game on Friday night against a team who's a little bit on the rise right now. They won their last two matches. They won two of their last three matches, and they're coming in knowing that they're in desperation mode. They have to secure 3 points. If they don't secure 3 points against us, they put themselves in a very difficult spot, having to go on the road to Texas State for their last match. So we know what the level of mentality is going to be like from this Georgia Southern team coming in, and we just have to make sure that we understand we're at home with the same thing on the line and everything to play for. So I think being at home right now, listen, I'd much rather be at home on the final weekend with these dynamics at play in the league table than to be on the road.
Does it feel like this season just flown by for you, or because you're in the thick of it, do you not sense that?
No, it's most definitely seemed as if it's on fast forward. To be in our last regular season weekend is almost unimaginable. I just can't believe we're here already. And there's I've mentioned before, there's been ebbs and flow throughout, and I think being short staff this year and not being able to have hired our full complement of staff has stretched myself and Coach Salas fairly thin, and so I think that's even further increased the feeling of it being on hyperspeed. But at the end of the day, we're where we wanted to have been. At the beginning of the year, which is to be in position to play in the postseason tournament, especially after where they were last year. So everything we could ask for, and like I said, I'm not even sure that the seeding is going to matter a whole lot in the tournament. Maybe kickoff times, but in terms of who you play, South Al, as I said after that South Al game that we played at home, they're one of the top teams in our conference, and as it turns out, they're the top team in the conference at this point, at least so it seems. And playing them at home to a 0-0 draw and having some chances to win that game, and what I really think it's turned out to be is it's more matchup scenarios as opposed to teams. No team seems to be truly dominant in the league, maybe except for them in terms of getting points. But the nature of competition and the nature of how tight this league is and the parity in this league, again, I think it's just further increased this feel that everything is hyper competitive, everything's on hyper speed, the preparation, the most minute details in preparation, the most minute details in execution are of the most critical value. So it's just all rolled together. The answer, absolutely.
Would you rather there be a lot of parity, or would you rather it be top teams and then bottom teams?
Listen, I mean, we're competitors. Every chance we get to go out and compete is great. sometimes you're used to winning games by larger margins, and that just doesn't really seem to be the case. Certainly for us this year, I don't know that we have quite figured out the attacking piece in the final third and really executing in the final third. We seem to have tightened up the defensive third, certainly from that first weekend or first few matches. But even that we didn't defend particularly well on Friday night, and so there's still a little bit of ups and downs in that. But it's just kept everything so tight, and I like that. I think honestly I like it. I think it's great. It's maybe a little bit stressful for the student athletes. Certainly can be stressful for us, but I think at the end of the day you're here to compete. And what I told them, it kind of goes along the lines of that. What I told them on Friday at halftime, I said, listen, you're not entitled to points. You're entitled to the opportunity to compete, but you're not entitled to points. Let's not forget how this works. I think sometimes when there's a true separation from top and bottom, you can kind of get that false comfort and complacency. We have no reason for there to be complacency anywhere in anything we're doing. We have not arrived by far. We have so much better days ahead of us, so long as we continue to remain focused and work hard. But that's probably that was the most concerning piece over the weekend. Is like, hang on a second, we showed up here on the road. Did we just expect that they were going to give us 3 points to take back on the plane with us, or how is this going to work? And we didn't really have a true response or answer to that in the second half of that game. So we've got some things to solve this week.
How have you seen your freshmen grow this season, and what kind of impact do they continue to make?
Yeah, we have some talented freshmen, and we have some just incredibly hardworking freshmen, and you love the effort, you love the hard work, you love the enthusiasm and everything that they bring to the table. Our freshmen right now are still freshmen. There's still some kind of inconsistencies in from one half to the next or one game to the next, and trying to help them kind of remain on their feet and build some confidence. I think Carlene scored 3 or 4 goals, I think, for us this year, and she's certainly a player who's capable of that. Rachel had some early assists and really is had a hard time finding her rhythm here later in the season. But the thing with I think with first years is they can show up at any point in time and just completely change the dynamic of the game, and we have a number of them are capable of doing that, and I just hope that on Friday that's what they bring to the table, because we could certainly use it.